Refugee, migrant, asylum seeker, unaccompanied minor. They're technical terms, but what we're really talking about here is kids, 17 or younger, many traveling more than 1,000 miles all alone to escape violence. Some say they're running for their lives. The numbers fluctuate from year to year, but the challenges of management do not. From October 2017 to April 2018, just over 26,000 unaccompanied minors were apprehended on the U.S.-Mexico border. That marked a 12% drop from the previous year, but apprehensions still averaged about 123 a day. Families with children and unaccompanied minors made up about 10% of illegal border crossings just a few years ago. Now they account for 40% of those detained. There's a process in place for handling unaccompanied children, but headlines show it is continually in flux. Here are the basics, a step-by-step of what happens when a child traveling alone is picked up at the U.S.-Mexico border. For starters, most of the children apprehended on the southern border traveled from El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras, where drug cartels and gangs kill with impunity. After they turn themselves in, or they're caught at the border, the kids are held in a U.S. Customs and Border Protection detention facility. Within 72 hours, they're supposed to be moved from that detention center to one of more than 100 shelters where they stay for 35 days on average. Also at this point, the children are transferred from the Department of Homeland Security to the care of the Office of Refugee Resettlement, which is part of the Health and Human Services Department. Children are assigned a caseworker at the shelter. They're given medical checkups and food. HHS is solely responsible for these children until they can be released to a sponsor. Sponsors, often a relative, are adults deemed to be suitable to look after the child's well-being. All sponsors must pass a background check. The sponsor is supposed to make sure the child's present at immigration hearings, and if a judge orders their deportation, brings them to ICE. About 40% of the kids, though, never show up for court hearings, disappearing into the country, according to DOJ in 2016. Until a case is resolved, local or state child protective services are responsible for following up on reports of abuse or neglect once a child is placed with a sponsor. However, since 2016, HHS says it does make follow-up calls within 30 days to ensure that the minors continue to live with sponsors, they're enrolled in school, and are aware of their court dates. But just look at the news, you're going to see the process is far from foolproof, especially at the sponsor stage. A few details. HHS called 7,635 children the department had placed with sponsors. It found that 6,075 were still living with their sponsors. 28 had run away. 5 had been deported, and 52 were living with somebody else. The rest were missing. So while the system is crafted to maximize protection, it is still more porous than lawmakers and immigration officers would like.